This conference will now be recorded.
So I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup, then I'll start the server in the backend and we'll continue with the discussion. Okay. So definitely then, yeah, this is my usual pattern. I'll be always asking what we have discussed in the previous classes. So from yesterday's session, whatever that we have discussed, we have discussed around 25 to 30 minutes elaborately. Of course, remaining all of them are background. But what did you understand? How do you think Pega is different when compared to other traditional programming languages? What do you understand? What did you understand, and how do you think Pega is different? Hello.
Sir, so from yesterday's class, sir, the main points of Pega that you told us, like no coding is required. I mean, minimum coding is required, and it is fast and efficient, and it is cost saving.
Definitely, it is okay. Definitely, it is a cost saving. It is a faster application, and it is a no coding platform. Okay, so when we say no coding platform, right? See, technically speaking, there is no application. There won't be any application which does not have a code. But still, we are saying it as low coding. See, there is a difference. Carefully observe, guys. There is a difference that we are saying it as low code platform. Generally people say it as no coding platform. That's okay. Both of them are more or less same. Okay. So what happens here is, let me tell you how things works. Basically, what did we see? Basically, yesterday we saw how to create a UI screen. But actually, what happened is, in the backend, when we are, what did we do? To build that particular UI screen, what did we do?
Just drag and drop, sir.
Correct, right? So when we are dragging and dropping, when we are dragging and when we are doing that drag and drop actions, when we are doing the drag and drop options, what happens is, Pega in the backend, Pega is writing the code in the backend. Okay, so let me just try to, of course, for sections actually will not be able to show you, but actually I will show you how things are going to be. Okay, let me see if my server started. If my server started, then actually I'll try to show you. Okay, previous installation, it is not started. Okay, so here actually, if you see, from our point, it is no coding. From our point, it is no coding. But in the backend, Pega is writing the code. Not only UI rule, every rule that you configure, what Pega is doing is, by the options selected by the developer, Pega is writing the code in the backend. Pega is writing the code in the backend. This is the sole approach of low code environment. Not only Pega, even if you're talking about Amazon, what is it? Some lab. Amazon something there somebody told yesterday.
Honeycode,
So that one, or even if you yeah, Amazon Honeycode, or even if you take Appian, or even if you take Oracle BPM, everything is having the same concept. Okay, where you will be taking, basically where a developer will be doing some configurations in the backend, that particular tool will be writing the code. Okay, so now actually, generally, before going into the actual sessions, see, if you see the approach, the approach. Basically, you see, if you want to sum it up, the whole yesterday's and today's introduction, I will write it in single way. Pega is a tool where developer configures the requirement and Pega tool writes the required code. Any confusion in this statement? Any confusion in this statement?
Oh, sir.
Pega is a tool where developer configures the requirement and Pega tool writes the corresponding code. Pega tool writes the corresponding code. Okay. So this is the whole approach of Pega, and that is what we are going to see. If you see this kind of approach, no, it is not a traditional approach. Not everyone will do this. Okay, it is not a traditional approach. Not everyone will do this. Basically, that is where actually, like, the terms and the language as in the oral language, I'll just simply say it as oral language, what I speak will be different. The terminology and the oral language, what I speak, will be different. So we have to understand those terminologies first before even trying to jump into the concepts. Okay, so normally, yeah, let's jump into the topic now. How many of you have Gmail IDs? Obviously, everyone have Gmail IDs. That is the reason you are able to log in now. Or maybe you got a link in the WhatsApp and you are able to log in. So what is the ID? What is the ID using which, or what is the ID using which you are logging into the system? What is it called? What is it called?
User ID, sir.
Simple, right? User ID. So if you see, this is a regular terminology. Okay, this is a regular terminology. So I'll just simply try to write the regular terminology and Pega corresponding this one. So if you see user ID in Pega terminology, this is called as operator ID. Okay, same thing. You should not confuse when somebody says it as operator ID. What does it mean? When somebody says as operator ID, what does it mean in Pega world? User ID. Something using which operator will be logging into the system. Okay, now see, everybody will be using what do you say, different mobile apps, right? Okay, from user point of view, that means like from Android user or from iOS user or from laptop user, Windows user or Mac user, you are calling it as app. You are calling it as app, mobile app or desktop app, whatever it is, app. But actually for a developer, it is always called as application. For a developer, it is always called as application. Okay, so even in Pega terminologies also, this is called as application. Okay, now tell me, what is an application?
App.
What is an application? Yeah, it may be an app. Okay, now if you see, basically, I think everybody might have used one banking app, right? I think like you are doing mobile
Yes,
banking,
sir.
you're paying all the phone pays, you are paying all those things. So everybody might be using one bank. So if you see, for that bank, basically two things will be there. There will be website and there will be mobile app. There will be
Yes.
mobile app. Am I right to say? Normally every bank, whatever that you are seeing, all of them are having a website and a mobile app.
Mobile app.
Okay, so here actually Pega can develop both. Pega can develop both. Okay, the point to be noted, developing a mobile app requires requires a special setup, okay, which we are not going to discuss in this course curriculum, okay, because I want to, what do you say? I want to make my boundaries clear, what I am going to discuss, okay. So this one actually, like, even trust me, out of 100 Pega developers who are working there, hardly 10 to 15 people only worked on mobile applications, because Pega is not such a easy tool. Actually, if you see, my laptop is 8 GB laptop, and still, I'm running a server in the backend, and still it is killing itself. That means, like, I'm having so many issues. So Pega mobile apps are not that much famous, but Pega websites or Pega things are very, very famous. Okay, so the famous application, what I don't know how many of you are using, HSBC is completely on Pega. It is completely on Pega. But of course, what they are doing, basically, from what I know, they are using some what do you say, React JS in the front end, and in backend they are using Pega. Backend they are using Pega. So that means a website is built by using React JS, and they are all the data that is captured in the website, they are sending it to backend application, which is Pega. Very famous bank actually. So this is how actually it is going to work. HSBC
So, sir,
is one such thing.
React JS is only for user interface, sir?
Yeah, because the word itself says the explanation. React JS comes with lot of packages which will be making user actions interactive. That means, for example, actually, if you see, when I click on this small icon, if you see the opening and closing, it is very smooth.
Animation, yes,
It
sir.
is very smooth. Yeah, so that kind of things are heavily are inbuilt in React JS. Okay, but actually Pega is not that kind of tool. Pega is not that one. Pega is always about capture things, process them, and ensure that it is going to the different people, etc. and all, routing, approvals, etc. Our world is completely different. Okay, so that does not mean that you have to go and learn React JS, but basically I'm saying, see, even though we may not be front end, but still there are hundreds and hundreds of projects where we are acting as backend. Okay, so to boost up your confidence, this is what is the actual real truth. Okay, because actually many people are saying, okay, Pega. Then tell me which application you are seeing as in the Pega in the real world. No, it may not be, because nobody likes say a simple UI what we are creating. Everybody needs a Flash UI. That is the reason actually they are going for React JS. Okay, so here actually, yes, we have discussed about two terminologies. One is operator ID, another one is application.
Sir,
So now tell me, yeah.
So, sir, if someone asks, like, yeah, if you have done some project in Pega, show me in real time. How we will show them, sir, that we have
Okay.
implemented this?
Sorry, can you come again?
Yeah, sure, sir. So, sir, like you said, Pega will always be on backend and not on front,
Most of the
user
time, yes,
side.
yes.
Yes. So, sir, if we are showing some projects to during interviews or somewhere, and we are saying that we have implemented these changes, how we will actually show them, sir? Live?
No need, in interview, no need. In interview, nobody will ask you to show something in live. If they
Okay.
are asking, then they don't really know how to do an interview.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Very clear. Actually, I am a part of interview panel for the past 5 years. Definitely, we will not ask such kind of questions. Okay,
Oh,
so you will
okay.
understand how to do what we are going to deal later. Now, when we are talking about application, types of users are there. Types of users. Can you tell? Maybe can someone tell me how many types of users are there, or maybe whoever is the user that you think. Let's take Gmail only. For Gmail, who are the users?
We all use it, sir. The
So
customers.
that means end or yeah, correct. Can I say ours as end customer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for Gmail application only, there is one more person we always ignore. This will also will be using, right?
Yes.
This will also will be using. But what this fellow will be doing? He will be creating features. Okay, he will be creating features. What this fellow will be doing? He will be using the features. Am I right to say?
Yes, sir.
Correct, right? Because actually, if you see, it's not that this developer is developing for Yahoo and you are seeing it in Gmail. Does it work like that?
No, sir.
No, right? Both of them should be working for same
Gmail only.
application. Am I right to say? Both of them should be working for same application. But actually, we will never discuss about this person. You know, as a end user or an end customer, we will never discuss about this particular person. Okay, but normally you take anything. It may be a Gmail app, or it may be a HDFC app, it may be a HSBC app, or it may be a IRCTC, it may be a APSRTC, or whatever app that you see. Definitely two people will be there. Two different set of users will be there. Okay, two different set of users will be there. Both of them will be having, both the users will be having a login ID called as what?
You operator ID, sir.
Very good. Okay, see, that's how you have to correlate. Okay, I'm not going to spoon feed. Basically, you have to try to understand what we're trying to discuss. Of course, I will not be way out of the what do you say, kind of, I'm not going to be out of syllabus all the time. Okay, so if you see, both the users will be having login ID called as operator ID. Now I have a question, you know, maybe all of you think and try to give your answers. See, I am saying both the users are having operator ID. Both the users are having operator ID. But my question is, how do you know, see, if both of them are having same access, no? What do you mean by access? What do you mean by access? Permissions.
Yes. Yes.
Permissions. What do you mean by access? Permissions. See,
Permissions.
if a developer, if a end user is given same access as developer, what he will do? He will crash the application. Can I say that?
Yes, sir.
A developer should do developer job. End user should do end user thing. See, if you give options to an end user to create new features, no, he will create all the nonsense and he will say that, okay, boss, this is the feature that I'm giving to you. Use it. Will you use?
No, sir.
You will not use, no? Definitely, only a
Developers only.
designated set of people should work on it. Yeah, so that means now, are we agreeing that even though both of them are having or both of them are using same operator ID, I mean to say same using operator ID, I will not use same, that will be a wrong thing. So both of them are using operator ID. Access restriction has to be implemented. All of you are with me on this?
Yes, sir.
Or maybe I will write it in a simple way. Access segregation has to be implemented. All of you are with me on this? What is the access segregation that we are doing here? What is the access segregation that we are doing here?
For user and for developer, different access permissions, sir.
Correct. Different permissions. You know, what is the permission that we are talking about? A developer can create features. Okay, a end user can use the features. You see,
Yes.
Okay, so who is doing this? Who is doing this? In Pega, this is handled by something called as access group. Access group. Okay, access group. Okay, in short terms, we will be always, most of the times we'll keep it as AG. Most of the times we'll keep it as AG. Okay, access group. Now tell me, guys, any one of you, what is the definition of access group? In your own words, no problem. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. What is the definition of access group? I already told it. Come on.
Access group is used to set the access segregation, sir, in Pega tool.
Very good. So you answered one of the basic interview question by yourself. Okay. So this is how. Now I will add this to our terminology table. Access group. Access group. Okay. Any confusion with these three terminologies? Because very, very important, guys. I'm not going to repeat these things in the future classes. Okay. Any confusion with the one which I highlighted in blue color?
No, sir.
Any confusion? Okay, good, great, good going. So now actually, if you see, so here actually, now I will ask something, of course, which you might have learned it in your childhood. Can someone tell me, what do you mean by one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-one, and many-to-many? Of course, this last one is nonsense. Yeah, tell me, what is one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one?
Relations, sir.
Relations, right?
Yes, sir.
So see, guys, one thing, basically all of you has to remember that nothing what we are using in day to day is coming out of space. Space as in the outside earth. I'm talking about that. Nothing. Everything is coming from basics only. Why I talked about this one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship? Let me try to explain you. The relation between operator to operator to application is one-to-one. The relation between access group to application is one-to-one. Okay, the relation between operator to application is one-to-one. The relation between access, okay, this one is not one-to-one. I'll show you. Yeah, the relation between access group to application is one-to-one, and one-to-many. Operator to access group is one-to-many. Operator to access group is one-to-many. Now you tell me, what is the relation between operator to application? Operator to application.
Operator to application will be many to one, sir. Only one application.
One-to-many. One-to-many. From Pega point of view, it is one-to-many. Because see, okay, let's try to talk about your answer only. Basically, what you talked about is operator to application is many to one. Okay,
Yes,
I understand what you are saying. For example, if it is HDFC, basically multiple users will be pointing to one application.
Yes, sir.
One application. Okay, this is 100% true. This is 100% true. Nothing wrong in it. But actually, what happens now in real time? See, it is not just HDFC application that we are talking about. Normally, in real time, what happens now? There will be further segregation of these applications. That is like HDFC savings. If you see, how many of you saw that you will be able to access only credit card related privileges? How many of you saw that you will be able to see only savings bank related privileges? Why not NRA bank you are not able to see? Why not gold related bank related options why you are not able to see? Why a home loan related options you are not able to see? Okay, there is a segregation. There is a further segregation. Okay, so this particular one-to-one and one-to-many relationship, what I talked, I am purely talking from how things are mapped in Pega. I will show you right away. I will show you. Okay, so this is a real world perspective. Okay, let's see how things works. I will try to log in. Yesterday I did not clear caches, so yesterday it gave me some hard time. Let's see today it works.
So from this, how do you know that the database is started?
No. Actually, like here, see if it is started, no, then you will see the login screen. As simple as that. Actually, inside this, yeah, when I'm talking about the installation classes, I'll show you. Why should we wait? I can tell you
Because
now.
so many things are there, sir. We hardly can read anything
Yeah,
here.
wait. I'll show you server startup. See here.
Okay.
Server started in so and so time.
Yes, sir.
This is a line which says that your server has started. See,
Okay.
Pega is not a software. It is a server that is installed in your laptop. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it says that server started in 2053 milliseconds. Basically, each millisecond, I think like 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. Okay, so that means basically it took almost 20 minutes to
Some
start.
minutes. Yes, sir.
Some minutes to start. Basically, that's how it is. Okay, for you people, actually, sometimes it shows 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. As long as you see this one, it shows that it started. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, after that, of course, I'll be talking about installation in a separate class. Once the batch is finalized, I'll be talking about installation also. There I'll explain clearly. Now, actually, yeah, this is the screen. See. Okay, I'll log off again. Let me come from beginning. See, this is the login screen. Can I say that this is something similar to your Gmail login screen, where you will enter ID and password? I'm not talking about look and feel. I'm not talking about options. I'm not talking about colors, etc. In Gmail login also, you will enter ID and password. Here also, you are entering ID and password. Am I right to say? So now,
Yes,
what
sir.
is this Kumar 001 called? What is this Kumar 001 called?
Operator ID, sir.
Operator ID. Okay, so you just log in. So the moment a operator ID logs in, basically, what did we discuss? An operator ID should be always having a application pointed to him. Correct? An application pointed to him. Now, actually, if you see here, in the heading, see here, there is something called as application. So this is the application that this particular operator ID is pointed to. This is the application that this particular operator ID is pointed to. Okay. Now, if you see, okay, boss, why should I trust? That's okay, no problem. You just simply click on drop down and you click on definition. Definition. Okay, immediately I'll be asking two questions here. See, Pega is always practical. If you should always be doing the practice, then only you will try to come to the level where I am speaking. If you don't touch Pega, if you don't log in Pega, if you don't start and work on Pega in your personal laptop, then I can't help you. Okay. So now if you see, this is the application rule in Pega. See here, whatever, see, going forward, whenever I open a window, inside this particular view, you should see in the heading, what is there before semicolon. That is the type of rule that we are talking about, application. That is the type of rule that we are talking about, that is application. Okay, so this is called as application. Now let me open operator ID. See, what is our operator ID name? Did someone remember?
Kumar sir.
Kumar 001. Okay. So now if I open the operator ID, you should be seeing something as Kumar 001. Am I right to say?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's see. Now, can you tell me this is an operator ID or not?
Yes, sir.
How you are telling? If yes,
Before
how you are
semicolon. Before semicolon, sir,
Operator
operator ID is there.
Operator ID is there. Okay. So now actually, if you see, when I log in with Kumar, what is the application that I saw? GP0005. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Which is nothing but this one. Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is the operator ID. This is the application. Okay. Now when I open this operator ID, okay. Now actually, if you see, this is application and this is operator ID. What is the relation between them? Access group is the relation between them. See, inside operator, you are having access group. Inside operator, you are having access group. And that particular access group is mapped to an application. Okay. Can someone confirm whether this is an access group or not? How you are confirming? How you are confirming that this is an access group?
Before semicolon,
before
access
semicolon.
group.
Okay. Okay. Before semicolon, it is called as access group. Now, actually, if you see how the flow works is, from the operator ID, see, I'm opening. From the operator ID, inside the operator ID, an access group is mapped. Inside the access group, an application is mapped. Inside the access group, an application is mapped. Okay. Now, actually, if you see, I will try to write it. Carefully observe. Inside operator ID, an access group is mapped. Inside access group, an application is mapped. Any confusion with this one? Any confusion with this one? Okay.
No.
Now that is the reason. Now that is the reason actually you are able to okay. That is the reason actually you are able to see GP005 when you log in. Now let me make a small change. See here, how many access groups are there? How many access groups are there? Two access groups, right? I am pointing this to this one. Okay, I'll just simply save. Okay, I just simply save. I will log off. Okay, now when I log in, what should be the application that it should be? Is it GP005?
Yes, sir.
GP005. Okay. Let's try to take this one and we will call it a day. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, can someone tell me what is the application name here?
DM sample, sir.
DM sample. Why we are not saying GP005, which we saw previously? Let me open the operator ID. What is the default option here?
Default is DM sample administrator, sir.
Now, I'm making a statement. You tell me whether you accept it or not. Operator ID will always see the application that is defaulted to him or her.
Yes, sir.
You accept it or not? So now I'm making another statement. Okay, I'll make the statements. You just tell whether you accept it or not. Okay. So see, it doesn't mean every statement is correct. Okay. Operator will see the default application first. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because that is the default, sir,
No, not
for
it's,
that operator.
yeah, because that is default selected for that operator. Very good. Now, second thing, an access group, an operator ID can have multiple access groups. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. We just saw two access groups, sir, in that.
Very good. Okay. So I can add as many as I want.
Yes,
See,
sir.
I'll click on place. See, I'll select some drop down and I'll add. So I can add as many access groups I want. Okay. So now again, going back to our statements. Okay. An access group will always map to one application. Okay. Before confirming this as yes or no, let me show you. You show me after that. Okay. Where is that? Sorry. Yeah. No, not this one. Those. Okay. I'm opening the access group. Now you tell me, where is the application located here first? Where is the application located here?
GP005.
Now you try to answer my question. An access group will always map to one application. Yes or no? Do you see any option where I can add? Do you see an option where I can add another application here?
No, sir.
All right. See, whenever you are seeing, see, always observe. If you have an option to add further, you will see plus. Plus.
Okay.
Plus.
Yes.
If you don't see, that means only one option can be specified.
Okay, sir.
Okay, am I clear?
Yes.
Am I clear? See, I'm telling you, How you learned Word document? By using it. How you will learn Pega? By using it, not just by listening to me. Okay, so when I explain you, I am explaining you how to read and understand what you are seeing. Now tell me, what is this rule type? Now what is this rule type? Rule type. What is there before
Which
semicolon?
one, sir?
Rule
Okay,
type. Rule type. Operator ID. How you are saying
operator. Because it is
Operator.
before semicolon, sir.
Okay, what is this rule type?
This rule type is access group, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, very good. What is this rule type? What is this rule type?
Data page, sir.
Did I explain about this anytime previously? No, right?
No.
But you were able to answer you are able to answer it correctly. See, basically, what did I teach you? How to read the things, how to understand
Yes,
what
sir.
you are seeing. Okay. Whenever I say what is the rule type, you should be able to answer it automatically from now on. Okay.
Okay.
I'll not
Yes,
be repeating saying that, okay, this is the data page. I'll not be saying this is a decision rule. I'll not be saying this is a section. You have to understand. When I open something, you should be able to understand, oh, this fellow opened data page. This fellow opened access group. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So these are the 3 new terminologies. And, maybe you just try to, all of you as a homework, take it as a homework, try to validate these things. One-to-one, access group to application. We just saw it. Okay, one-to-many, operator to access group. We saw it. Now, all of you go and try to confirm this. What is this? Operator to application. What is this? In tomorrow's class, I need the answer. How operator is mapped to an application. Okay. Just think. No need. Of course, I know you people might not be having Pega tool. Definitely, I understand. But try to visualize. Try to visualize. See, Pega is all about imaging. How you have to, how you want to, how things work. You have to visualize. Okay. So, any confusion with today's class? Any confusion?
No.
Always try to speak out, because it's always good to discuss in the same class rather than trying to discuss after 1 week. No problem, we can discuss again after 1 week. I don't mind to speak after 1 week. I'm not that candidate, but actually if you have doubt, we can show here, we can discuss. We will be in that context and we'll be able to discuss it better. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So don't worry. To the enrolled candidates, software will be shared. And one more thing, for the enrolled candidates, I really don't like you, to open the tool when I'm taking the class. You have to open the tool after my class, or maybe at the last 10 minutes of the class. Okay, that is one important thing that I want to highlight. So yes, this is how, slowly. And by the way, one last question before we call it a day. What is this view called? What is this view called?
Sir,
Do you
Dev
remember
Studio.
yesterday I told about?
Yes, sir. Dev Studio.
Dev Studio. See, for the next 30 sessions, I'll be always asking these kind of questions. It's my way to check whether you are listening or not. It's my way to check whether you are reading or not. If you're not reading, see, boss, you paid the money, you are the loser. Okay. So
Yes,
try
sir.
to see that, try to understand that. If you have questions, feel free, no problem. Even though I sound very rude, I am not rude. I will answer the questions. Okay, as a teacher, I must be like this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then that's all, guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch up again tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.